Europeans love to tell us that America has no culture, which is fascinating to me because they're usually, I don't know, wearing Levi's, listening to Beyonce, and typing that into an iPhone when they're not binge watching Netflix. So I say to you this, my brothers and sisters in NATO, you don't have to like America. You just have to explain why you're dressed exactly like us.
Can we stop calling Americans uncultured because they haven't travelled outside of America? No, seriously. America has everything. Every landscape you can think of. Every weather you can think of. And you want it in America, you get it. You go to a different state. You go to the East Coast, you go to the West Coast, you go to the Midwest. America has everything. As a Brit, I live on a little island. I can take a 40-minute flight to a whole different country, right? I can do that because it's small. Americans don't need a passport. They don't need a passport. It doesn't make them uncultured because Americans can go on vacation, on holiday, in their own country. I think that's so hard for a European mind to even comprehend that. But until you've actually been to America and you've experienced it firsthand, it is like nothing else. It is so vast and there's so much to see, you never have to leave America. Americans are not uncultured for not leaving America. They don't have to!
Uncultured. That is the word Europeans use when they talk about America, as they stream American movies, listen to American music, type their opinions into American apps on American phones. Today we are putting that word to rest, because the rest of the world just spent weeks inside America for the World Cup, and what they found had nothing to do with the stereotype they arrived with. A British man, walking through an American neighborhood for the first time. He expected concrete. He expected chaos. Watch what he found instead.
I think I just found the most American neighborhood here in Monrovia. Check it out.
Gorgeous. Said by a man who came expecting something else entirely. Flags on every house. Chairs on every porch. Basketball hoops in every driveway. A neighborhood that looks like a movie set, but is just a Tuesday afternoon in America. And that is before he even tries the food. A British man, trying American barbecue for the very first time. He has standards. He came prepared to be unimpressed. Watch what happens.
Oh my days, Queen Lizzie, I'm sorry. Hello gents, today we're trying American barbecue for the very first time. We got a brisket here, nice cornbread, and then some mac and cheese as well with some sauces. It's about noontime where I am, so I'm properly famished. Let's get into it. First, let's try the brisket. Get a good chunk out of there. Good little piece. Oh, look at that. I got the moist cut, whatever that means. He said it was a little more fatty, so let's see. Oh my days. Oh my days. That is properly scrumptious. Oh my days. No wonder you blokes are fat. I'd be a fat gizzard too if I was eating this all the time. That is scrummy. That is scrummy, mate. Alright, we got the mac and cheese as well for the side. Let's give that one a try. Looks like they put a little brisket in there. I'm not sure what that part is. Oh, this is some good cheese, mate. Oh my days. That is scrummy. That is scrummy. Oh, I'm properly chuffed. Alright, now let's try it with the sauce. You guys were getting on me for not trying the sauce last time. This is called Texas twang. I don't know what twang means, but it sounds good at least. Get a fair bit on there. Oh my days, that is elevating.
He apologized to the Queen over a brisket. That is what American food does to people who have spent their whole lives being told it is not worth trying. And the food is just one layer of what America actually is. If you are still watching this and you have not hit subscribe yet, I respect your dedication to being difficult, but hit the button. Every day on this channel, we are pulling back the curtain on what the world really thinks about America. Not what the media says, not what the headlines push. So subscribe, and do not miss what is coming next. Now let me show you something that stops Europeans completely in their tracks. Not a landmark, not a museum, not a gallery, an American university.
So I went to university in England, and our universities didn't look like this. Check out the trees. It's like some Beverly Hills trees. I mean, we are in Beverly Hills technically. As an Englishman, I can truly appreciate these buildings and architecture. Check it out. It actually looks like a castle. Who knew American colleges looked like England? Incredible. Look at the stained glass. This is very English, actually. Look how lovely this staircase is. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, now I really feel like I'm in Hogwarts. This university's so big, they literally have a Panda Express. A Panda Express in their university. That is crazy. They literally have a whole Alienware gaming console section in the university. That is crazy. They have Carl's Jr. They have a whole food court. That is crazy, guys.
It looks like Hogwarts, said by a man from England, the country that invented Hogwarts. Standing inside an American university that looks more like a castle than anything he went to back home. That is not a country without culture. That is a country that built something extraordinary in 250 years that took others 1,000 years to match. And then there is this, a British man, traveling across America, noticing something that nobody back home ever told him about.
America has taught me one thing that the UK seems to have completely forgotten. I have been traveling around America for a fair amount of time now. And it seems like America really has a lot of respect. Respect for the land. Because listen, if you don't respect Mother Nature out here, she will bite you in the bottom. You have to respect the land or it will humble you. People out here have a lot of respect for the wildlife. They don't treat the wildlife like it's just entertainment. And if they do, the same thing happens. You get bitten on the bottom, quite literally in some cases. And people out here seem to have more respect for each other. How you doing? Let me open that door for you. Or just giving you space to get on with your own thing. In the UK, it really feels like we've forgotten about respect. And we need to build that respect back up, my friends. Obviously, not everybody in America is like that, but for the most part of what I've experienced, respect is at the forefront of every American's day.
Respect is at the forefront of every American's day, said by a British man who came from a country that invented manners and is now being taught them by the country it always called uncultured. That is the real culture shock. Not the size of the portions. Not the flags on every house. The way people treat each other. Now here is the argument that Europeans can never win.
Americans are uncultured and untraveled. That's what everyone says, but that's not true, and here's why. People often say that Americans never leave America. They criticize that a lot of Americans don't even have passports. Just because they don't have passports doesn't mean they are uncultured or untraveled. If you realized how big America is, you would realize that Americans don't need to leave America ever. You never have to leave this place. Every single state is like a completely different country. And no word of a lie, every different state has different scenery. It could be mountains, lakes, forests, and each state has completely different weather. Even where I'm located, I can be in the Red Rocks one morning and drive 40 minutes up north and I could be in the forest. In the mountains, 10 degrees, 15 degrees cooler than it is here. Like, I don't think you fathom how big America is. There are so many states. You honestly do not have to leave America at all. You don't. Like, that doesn't mean Americans are uncultured.
Red rocks in the morning, mountains in the afternoon. Two completely different worlds 40 minutes apart. In Europe, 40 minutes gets you to another country. In America, 40 minutes barely gets you out of the county. That is not a country without culture. That is a country so vast and so varied that most people spend their entire lives discovering it and still never see it all. And this is where it always ends up. The moment Europeans who arrived with the stereotype have to face what they actually found. A group of British tourists. On camera. Addressing Americans directly.
Guys, I think we owe you a big apology. because what we think America's like is exactly not what it's like. Like the news outlets in the UK say America's this, say America's that, say America's this, say America's that. I'm not going to get into detail, but listen, when you go to America, you actually see what it's like with your own two eyes. Honestly, people are so nice here. The hospitality is amazing. People are just so accommodating, and anything you want, they will do it. And the thing is, the people here are so nice, so polite, and in the UK, we think the complete opposite. We think people are not nice. We think it's very dangerous here. But it's not, guys. You need to go to America to experience it. Because if you're not, then you're missing out. You're 100% missing out of what it's like in the USA. So to me, to you, I give you guys a huge apology, because us Brits are missing out of the USA. Honestly.
Us Brits are missing out. Said by people who spent their whole lives being told not to bother, who arrived expecting uncultured, who found something they cannot fully explain to the people back home. Because you cannot explain America. You have to experience it. Here is the truth about American culture. It is not in a museum. It is not in a textbook. It is not in a headline. It is in the barbecue that makes a grown man apologize to the Queen. It is in the university that looks more like a castle than anything in England. It is in the neighborhood with flags on every house and chairs on every porch and basketball hoops in every driveway. It is in the man who holds the door and the woman who waves at a stranger and the family that invites you to their table before they even know your name. It is in a country so big that driving for 40 minutes puts you in a completely different world. Uncultured, the rest of the world is wearing our jeans, listening to our music, streaming our shows, scrolling our apps, and calling us uncultured while they do it. America is not one thing. It is 340 million people arguing about everything, welcoming almost everyone, and somehow turning all of it into something completely new. That is not a country without culture. That is the most powerful culture the world has ever produced. And the world is finally starting to see it. Drop a comment below. Americans, what part of your culture do you think the rest of the world completely underestimates? And if you are European, what was the moment you realized America had more culture than you ever gave it credit for?